Disrespectful woke interviewers getting destroyed for 17 minutes straight. Welcome to Rich House Reviews, where we don't mind giving a real opinion. Let me know where you're from in the comments. Don't be bougie. Welcome here, and let's get right into the video. Let's see what we got.
As journalism, the truth takes a back seat. Guests are baited.
Oh, no. I need to hear the words from the beginning.
A world gone woke, where shameless reporters push narratives and heartless interviewers disguise activism as journalism, the truth takes a back seat. Guests are baited, facts are ignored, and celebrities who refuse to follow the script are met with hostility. But when these agenda-driven reporters come face to face with unshakable logic and undeniable truth, their carefully crafted illusions crumble in an instant.
What is woke to you guys? Let me know what woke is to you. Now, I feel like I'm black. Being woke in the black community is completely different from being woke in the white community. But I want to know what being woke is in your community. Let me know.
Here are 9 celebrity encounters where woke interviewers got owned instantly. Starting off with the time a feminist journalist questioned Quentin Tarantino about the supposedly limited screen time given to a female actress in one of his movies. Without missing a beat, Tarantino fired back with sharp wit, leaving both her and the entire room laughing at the absurdity of the question. Just watch.
Farah Nairi from the New York Times. I had a question, same question for Quentin and Margot. Quentin, you have put Margot Robbie, a very talented actress, actor, in your film. She was in with Leonardo in Wolf of Wall Street. I, Tonya. This is a person with a great deal of acting talent, and yet you haven't really given her many lines in the movie. And I wondered, I guess that was a deliberate choice on your part, and I just wanted to know why that was.
Who the hell are you to determine what somebody needs to do in a movie when you're Quentin Tarantino? Like, how do you elect yourself to tell Quentin Tarantino what to do when it comes to movies? Come on.
Is that we don't hear her actually speaking very much. And Margot, I wanted you to also comment about being in the film in this part.
Well, I just reject your hypotheses.
The woke media then tried to spin the narrative, claiming Tarantino snapped, when in reality, he was cool as a cucumber. Even Margot Robbie, the actress in question, couldn't help but laugh at the sheer stupidity of these so-called journalists. Speaking of stupidity, next up is Lindsay Davis from ABC News, who tried to call out Lil Wayne for the offensive language in his songs, and then took it a step further with a bizarre question about his own family and daughter. But Wayne didn't fold, and his response left no room for debate.
What do you say to people who call your music vulgar, misogynistic, offensive, degrading?
No, if that's what you think about the music, if that's what you categorize it under, then so be it. All those things made me who I am, and I am a very successful man. Please keep looking out for more, because it's coming, baby.
So your daughter, would you have any problem with her being called a or a hoe?
Yeah, if they calling her a hoe, I have a huge problem with that. Yeah, but I've never called a certain female that I name out, unless I got a real big problem with her. Yeah.
They labeled his views controversial, simply because they didn't align with their narrative. When asked about Black History Month and the Black Lives Matter movement, Lil Wayne had a response they never saw coming.
What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea is that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on. It's not a name, it's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police for a reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matters, especially to my.
Do you separate yourself from it?
I don't feel connected to a that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy. You connected to this flag right. As I'm connected, I'm a gangbanger, man. I'm connected.
He shut it down immediately, refusing to entertain the media's race-baiting nonsense, and making his stance unmistakably clear by walking out of the interview. Next on the list...
First off, why do his lyrics have to be directed at his daughter? That was insane. Why you can't just be an artist doing what you do? Another thing, Black Lives Matter. Just because you black don't mean that you got to support Black Lives Matter. Come on.
Is Denzel Washington, who, as always, effortlessly shut down a reporter trying to bait him into discussing his political leanings.
Mr. Washington, you're here in D.C. during an interesting time with the transition in the White House. Just wondering who you wound up supporting in the election and why.
Go ahead now. Fences.
How about this? I don't know if you saw it. There's a fake news story going around. It got thousands of shares online. You saw that. And I just thought you might want to clear it up because people are confused.
There's a few words that start with F and end with K, but that one ends with E, but it starts with F.
Yeah, but just too vague. You got to be specific right now. F, K, and E.
What was the question?
Well, that was a question. Who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election?
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
Well, I'm only asking because the story was online, but that's okay.
Huh?
Let me ask you this: what issue do you hope President-elect Trump tackles?
I thought that white people don't even ask. Like, you can't ask a white person who they vote for on the street at all. They'll be like, "Oh my God, you're insulting me, sir." You could ask him about his wife; he'll tell you about his wife, but not who he voted for.
Number one in your mind with the new administration?
I don't know. I'd have to be more informed to just say off the top of my head the number one issue. I'm not sure. Education, jobs, health. I mean, there's so many. Yeah.
I want to just ask you, though, about the issue of race relations, because the film touches upon that. Right now, under President Obama, over the last 8 years, in your mind, have race relations improved under his leadership?
Race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are. I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage. There's no law that says, because I'm president, you all got to get along now. So it's up to us.
And there's been so many protests in America, especially during the election. Black Lives Matter movement, for example, and those issues. Has that movement in particular, the Black Lives Matter movement, helped race relations or not in America?
Well, listen, we live in America.
Yeah.
And in America, we have the freedom to express ourselves. We shouldn't take that for granted. So whatever the movements are, whether you agree with them or don't, they have the right to express themselves. So that's one of the great things about being in this country, that you do have the right to protect.
He was clearly annoyed, but kept his cool, handling it like a true gentleman. Denzel is one of the rare actors in Hollywood who balances humility with intelligence, and the proud look of admiration on his wife's face at the end says it all. Similar to Denzel, another incredibly intellectual man is Morgan Freeman, always sharp with his words, always on point when it comes to schooling those in the wrong and offering real solutions instead of empty narratives. Watch him end racism in less than a minute.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month.
It's deep.
Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it.
Facts.
I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
That's deep.
I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
It's crazy to think about the obsession some people have with race, because at the end of the day, we're all human. But this wasn't the only time Morgan Freeman shut down the race-baiting narrative. In another instance, he completely dismantled CNN's Don Lemon on live TV.
The whole thing, especially the president and Democrats aren't talking about income inequality, and that's basically what, when you talk about the richest 85 people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's income inequality. Do you think that's, looking at, what's happening in the news now, is that a good idea?
It's a great idea. It is the greatest idea. We have a much more vibrant society when we don't have such a vast chasm between the haves and the have-nots. We need that middle ground that we call the middle class, the people who buy everything, people who use the products that the rich are creating, if they're creating anything other than wealth, right?
It's deep.
So it's what's happening with the Chinese economy right now. They're changing their whole outlook because they need consumers. And without a middle class, you're not going to have consumers. You're not going to have it at the level that we normally would have it.
So can I go back to, because I thought what you said was fascinating, because you called it bull when you said people can't, pull themselves up. Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't
Today?
or cannot? Yeah.
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. Hey, you and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that. It's kind of like religion to me. It's a good excuse for not getting there.
I said, and it's probably get me in trouble, but I said to some of my colleagues recently, so I know that it's an issue, but it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news. But sometimes I get so tired of talking about it, I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is the problem we have.
The look on Don.
This is deep. This is part 1. You guys want to do part 2? You're going to write part 2 in the comments and we'll do it. All right. I can only go off of what the crowd wants, and that's pretty much what it is. So you guys write part 2. We'll run part 2 up and get in there. But I want to know your guys' views on what was talked about in this video. What I feel is race is something that is slapped in our face every day. It's slapped in our face from every perspective and from every race. So as a white man, you are slapped in your face with race every day. As a black man, you are slapped in your face with race every day. And when you are slapped in your face with race every day, it's hard to just deter away from it. Another thing is, it's something to talk about. And I think that's what it is. If they were not talking about it, like Morgan Freeman said, it wouldn't be spoken about it. We would have just pushed it under a rug and moved on. People are talking about it. There are a lot of things that do start off with race, and there are things that are racially driven, whether they're good or bad, and it's just the way that it is. Another thing is, as soon as people start being respectful, everything will be good. Respect is stop talking about things that you don't know nothing about, and that's it. If you offended, go somewhere else, but that's pretty much what it is. I don't want to break y'all brain down with too much though, but what I am going to do is save everything else for the second video. Y'all press part 2, we'll do that. Make sure y'all subscribe at the top bell. I got 3 other channels above my head. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here.